Welcome to Tracking the Wolves. My name is Josh Moon, Director of Athletics at Northern State University, and today we have a special guest, head football coach Tom Dosh. Coach, we haven't talked in about 2 or 3 weeks. We've had 2 games so far. First game, it was a triple overtime thriller, Wayne State. Last week we went down to Sioux Falls and played a tough physical game. Came out in the short end of that game. Can you take us through the first 2 weeks of the season?
Sure. I'm glad I'm a special guest too. That's
yes.
Good there.
Yes.
Anyway, we did. We had a triple overtime game against Wayne State. And we kind of went back and forth. We were actually behind most of the game, 7-0, and then rallied up and scored a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter, so we were ahead, and they tied it late. And never been part of a triple overtime game before, so it really becomes a kind of a battle of wills a little bit, and you got to really hang in there because there's a lot of momentum swings in a regular football game. As soon as you get into overtime, especially a triple overtime, the momentum just goes back and forth, and you got to be able to withstand the bad stuff and hopefully make one more play. And we were able to do that. We both scored in the first overtime. Neither team scored in the second overtime. So the rule is when you get to the third overtime, you have to go for 2 if you score. So we scored first and went for 2, and then Wayne came down and scored. And had to go for 2 to tie us, and we stopped them right just a few inches short of the goal line. So it was a pretty fun crowd. We had a great atmosphere that night. Really, over 6,100 people, I think, at the game, and fun game to be a part of. I've never been in a triple overtime one before. And of course, they're a lot more fun to win than lose, I'm sure. So we were fortunate enough to find a way to win that one, and then last week we went down to the University of Sioux Falls and kind of went back, and it was kind of a weird game because the first quarter and a half really kind of looked like it was going to be kind of a defensive battle. Mm-hmm. You know, neither team could do much, and then there was a couple plays on special teams. One that we had a real short punt into the wind that got them on a short field, and then they had snapped one over their punter's head before, and then we eventually went down and scored, and they didn't cover a kickoff that we recovered. So it appeared to be kind of a boring humdrum game for a while, and then there was all sorts of fireworks back and forth, and then really when it came down to it, we just didn't tackle very well on defense, and some critical times in the second and third quarter where we really had great opportunities to end drives and get tackles for loss. And not only did we miss them, but then we ended up giving up a long run as a result of that. So didn't tackle, and we really had some untimely penalties on offense. A couple of penalties. We still couldn't find the penalties when we watched the film, but we're still looking for them. And but nevertheless, we battled, and actually, as poorly as we played for stretches of that game, we still had a chance with 23 seconds left or whatever to recover an onside kick, and almost did, which would have given us a chance to go down and tie the game. But obviously, you want to play better than that, so you're not in that situation at the end of the game. And so we're going to use it as a learning tool and move on from there.
Now, last week you had 2 or 3 freshmen, actually a couple true freshmen, redshirt freshmen that saw their first significant time. Can you talk about their performance?
Yeah, we really did. It was kind of unusual. We had 3 touchdowns scored in the game by freshmen. Connor Doherty from Brookings, our starting tight end. Cody Kraft, who's from Timberlake, South Dakota, caught his first career pass, was a touchdown. And both those were in the second quarter. And then Taylor Houchin, wide receiver from Rapid City. We just moved him from running back to receiver this fall, and so he's learning as he goes. And he caught a touchdown from Jared Jacobson, and then Nathan Shaw, who's a true freshman kicker. He made his first field goal of his career and an extra point. So I think at one point in time we had, 30 or 25 of our 30 points were scored by freshmen, which is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
But so good to get those guys in games and good to get them experience, And, we thought another freshman, Chad Stoddard, defensive lineman, he's from Garrettson, South Dakota, really thought he played well defensively. And so now that's exciting to see. Now we got to get some of our upperclassmen have got to play at a higher level, guys who have played and performed at a high level. We need to get them to do it again. And a few of them struggled. They know it, and it wasn't lack of effort or lack of trying. It was just lack of probably execution. So I know those guys are excited to get back out and get on the field and play again.
This week, Upper Iowa, they're 1-1. They had a big opening week win against Minnesota Crookston. They played Duluth last week, obviously a tough opponent. What is the Peacocks shown you so far in film?
Well, really, offensively, they've had the same quarterback kind of receiver combinations and running back and tight end. Really, this is the third year those guys are together. So you talk about young players. We just talked about some of ours. you imagine and hope as a coach that when guys are playing for 2 or 3 or 4 years that they're playing at a high level. And really, when you look at their whole offense with the guys I just mentioned at the skill spots, it's really the most balanced attack that we've seen where you really can't concentrate on one guy. And the biggest offensive line we'll see, their tackles, I think 167 and 169, and they're both about 320 pounds. So we haven't seen guys quite that size yet this year. So offensively, it's really they've scored a bunch of points and really had a lot of yards. I think they had 450 yards against Minnesota Duluth, which really is pretty hard to do. Not many people do that. So really, that's their fireworks. And then the thing that's made them a better team now over the last year or so is they've gotten better defensively. They've scored a lot of points in the last couple of years, but now they're better on defense. The same thing. They got some experienced guys who've played a few years, and so they're playing a little different defense, one we haven't seen in a while. So it'll take some work, but it really comes down to us. We're going to play good teams all year long, so we just got to play better, and our guys know that, and our coaches know that. So we've got to work on things that honestly there's a lot of fundamental stuff, Josh, that we didn't do very well, and we got to get that squared away, and get after. I know, like I said earlier, our guys are excited to get out and play again.
When you talk about fundamentals, what does that actually mean in terms of practice? I mean, do you go back to, you mentioned tackling last week, do you actually really focus on tackling drills this week and just back to the basics?
We really are going to do that, especially on the defensive side of the ball, since that was really the biggest deficiency we had in our last game. And so we are going to do it, and our players know it, and they want to do it. We're going to spend a lot of time doing our tackle circuit, doing tackle drills, trying to get a realistic tackle. Sometimes you work on form tackling and all that stuff, but we're actually going to have to work on just doing a better job of getting people to the ground. We just did not do that well at all, and so we'll do some of that stuff that you maybe do during spring ball or you may be doing right at the beginning of fall camp. We will get back and do that because sometimes we practice schemes and everything so much that after a while you spend more time on that than you do it doesn't really matter how good your schemes are. If you can't make tackles, make plays, you're not going to play winning football, and that's what we need to do.
Great. This week, 1 o'clock kick at Swisher Field. We got 11 o'clock, Wolves Club tailgate, some fireworks, good times. Actually, we won't have fireworks, but it will be an afternoon game, lots of festivities, and really a celebration for the football season. Second home game, should be expect a huge crowd at Swisher Field. So 1 p.m. kick against Upper Iowa, and then at 5 p.m. we actually open up our home volleyball season against Minot State here in Wachs Arena. So another great weekend for Wolves Athletics. Until next time, go Wolves.